The only thing that we're interested in is putting money in your wallet. If you want to bet the fights, if you want to have a little bit of action, you are in the right place. With my partner, Ian Parker, I am Brett Okamoto.
We're ready to rock between our parlays, our props, our straight picks. It's time to make money. Let's go.
It is that time of the week for UFC Best Bets, and this week we are back in Las Vegas at the Apex facility with a women's flyweight main event between Amanda Ribas and Rose Namajunas, not ranked in that flyweight division, but that could be a big change for Rose and her quest to win a second championship in a different weight class. She'll look to start that journey with a win over Amanda Ribas. Hello, everybody. I'm Brett Okamoto alongside my partner, Ian Parker. We will be breaking down this main card and all of the prelim picks, as always, this week, but as we tend to do, let's take a look back at last week's UFC Fight Night that also took place in the Apex. How did we do, Mr. Parker?
Brett, we talked about this being a funky card, and that it was. We actually started off really well with Rafael Filo. We hit Mearshart Barberina in that fight. Mearshart also was a leg of our parlay, and we hit our long shot prop, round 2 submission at plus 450. The Bulgarian fight, we lost by split decision. You know, I scored that to 10-1, 10-8 round 1 for Bulgarian. Round 2 for Bulgarian and 10-8 for C-Rod, which at worst would have been a draw, but somehow we lost there. We lost Nunez, and then our parlay we lost because our last leg, Kennedy lost by split decision. Then Brian Battle, well, that ticket was a void, a push, because Lusa, for some reason, after the eye poke, couldn't continue, but then he was okay to want to fight afterwards, so that cost us a Brian Battle situation there, and he was looking real good. But on to this week. Let's go.
Yeah, Brian Battle was looking very good, and the long shot prop of the night maybe saved us a little bit with that plus 450 odds. Always nice to hit those long shot props. Let's move it to this Saturday, man. It's UFC Fight Night. Again, as I mentioned, main event between Rose Namajunas and Amanda Ribas. This is a ESPN card, actually. You can find the main card on ESPN. You can also see it on ESPN Plus. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and then the prelims start at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. In addition to the main event, you got Carl Williams taking on Justin Tafa. A little bit of a Actually, not even a little bit. A very weird situation there with the Tafa brothers. We'll talk about that a little bit when we speak about the co-main event. Edmund Shabazian also on this card. Our guy, Billy Q. We love betting on Billy Q fights, taking on Yusuf Zalal, who returns to the UFC after leaving the organization for a little bit. So plenty to talk about on this 6-fight main card. And let's start, as we do, with the main event, 125 pounds. Rose, moving up in weight. Late last year, took on Manon Fior. That was a little bit too much. I did think she looked a little bit undersized in that fight. That won't likely be an issue here, right? Because Amanda Ribas, she has also participated a lot in the 2 different weight classes. She is 5-1 as a strawweight, 2-2 as a flyweight. This is essentially 2 strawweights who aren't cutting weight. How do you look at the odds here at minus 220 with Rose Namajunas?
You know what? I think this is going to be the Rose Namajunas show. I think this is the right fight for her. I think it's the one that she should have had probably the first time around. To your point, she was undersized. Here, she will not be. I think across the board, between physicality, striking, the only place where Ribas might be better is judo, but I think due to Rose's actual physical strength, it's not going to be a problem. I think Rose is the better wrestler. I'm pretty much telling you that this is do or die for Rose here. If she wants to be a champion or at least contend for a title in this division, all roads have to go past Amanda Ribas. Ribas is talented. We've actually bet on her a lot in the past. She's done well for us. Recently against Pinheiro, she was not winning until she finished that fight in the 3rd round, and she's not a notorious finisher. For me, Brett, I'm all over the place on this fight. I have 3 different plays because, honestly, I see all these hitting. I'll start off with, I think Rose is going to get this done before the last bell. So I like under 4.5 rounds. Ribas has been cracked before. She's been rocked multiple times. We've seen Rose knock people out. I think Rose wins. I'm comfortable at minus 220. You know I hate doing that, but here I don't see where she loses. And on top of that, I'm going to go prop of the night here. I think Rose gets this done inside the distance at plus money. I just feel that if Rose is as confident as she's coming off of these interviews, this is the right stylistic fight for her. This has to be the spotlight for her. She has to win this fight. She seems confident, good mindset. Let's go with Namajunas for this one.
Okay, I like the way you explained your stances there. I looked at this line and thought, I thought maybe we'd get a better price on Rose just because it has been a long time since her last win. It's been 3 years almost essentially since she beat Zhang Wei Li. But if you're comfortable at minus 220, I know that you often don't take those lines, so you must think that the line should be a lot higher. So Ian Parker taking the favorite, Rose Namajunas there in the main event. Let's move to this co-main event, which, as I mentioned, a bit weird, right? I mean, Carl Williams is going to fight Justin Tafa. He was supposed to fight Junior Tafa, but Junior stepped in for Justin at the very last minute in a fight back in February at UFC 298. If this was some master plan by these guys to maybe switch opponents, it didn't get off to a good start because Junior lost that fight to Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Does Justin here get it done in this brotherly switch here? What do you make of the brotherly switch at first? And then what do you think of Justin Tafa at a potential plus 160 underdog here?
Yeah, you know what? For Carl Williams, different Tafa, same exact game plan. You got two very tough kickboxers, durable, but he was able to chop those legs out. Now, Justin Tafa is a little bit thicker, okay? He can take damage a little bit better than his brother. He's also physically stronger. However, Carl Williams is a guy who, let's be real here, he's not a finisher, but he knows exactly who he is. He's got good fight IQ. Tafa, on the other hand, who it's knockout or bust, and who he's beaten. Come on, Austin Lane, Parker Porter. Look, he's not fighting the elite, and those guys also didn't have the athletic ability, the wrestling, and the cardio that Williams does. I've seen Williams in other organizations. I've seen what he could do so far in the UFC. He does not care if he gets booed, and I'm glad for that one because he shouldn't at this point in his career, because if he wants to rise the ranks, he's got to get wins like this. For Carl Williams, I think he's lucky in the situation. Literally, the game plan is the same. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Carl Williams, I don't love that number minus 190 because Tafa still carries that insane power, but Williams has fought strikers before. Good wrestler, smart fighter. We're going with Carl Williams here.
Okay, taking Williams at minus 190, and the brothers not liking their chances here to even it out here with this opponent switch here in 2024. Let's move to the third fight here on the main card. It's at the middleweight division. Edmund Shabazian taking on AJ Dobson. Shabazian is 1-4 in his last 5. I got to be honest, Ian, I have not given up on Shabazian. I think that the potential is still there. I think he's changed his training regimen, training full-time now in Las Vegas. The odds makers tend to agree with that, it seems like. Minus 210 here, despite a 1-4 mark in his last 5. What do you think?
Well, he's coming off a loss, and Dobson's actually coming off a win where it was almost a pick-up. Look, Shabazian, we know what the kryptonite is. It's wrestlers with better cardio. I trust Edmund Shabazian, Brett, as far as I can throw him. Now, he's still 26. He's still young, but for me, it's dog or pass here. So I'm going to go Dobson to wrestle and get the upset.
Okay, then from there we go to the bantamweight division, Talbot versus Simon. This could be a very, very fun fight. Who do you like here, Talbot at minus 140?
I like Talbot here. I know he's a contender series guy. He looked good in his last fight, and Simon's very tough. I just think Talbot's physicality, put Simon on his back. He'll be able to control it. I think on the feet, it will be a lot of fun. I like that minus 140 number. Let's go Talbot. I do think he's the real deal.
Okay, and then another very fun fight at 145 this time. Billy Quarantillo taking on Youssef Zalal, who's Zalal, he came in as kind of a hot prospect, and then he had some struggles in the UFC. He is back here on short notice. Quarantillo only a minus 135 favorite. What do you think of this one?
I'm going Billy Q here. Zalal is a tough guy, and he fought Ilia Topuria to a decision, but short notice. And he doesn't possess that power to knock people out early on. Billy Q is a cardio machine, gets better as the fight goes on. Love that crimson mask right there. Not only am I going Billy Q here, Brett, long shot prop tonight. Billy Q, sub round 3. Let's go.
That could be a very fun fight. And then closing out the main card, 145 pounds, Fernando Padilla versus Luis Puello. What do you think about this one at the featherweight division?
Tough fight. Puello coming off the contender series and Padilla coming off a good win and then losing to Kyle Nelson. I'm going to roll with Padilla here. I think he is the better striker. I don't love that he lost his last fight, so I would probably be very cautious with the amount of units you're betting if you do this fight, but I will lean Padilla in this one.
Okay, that takes us through the main card, UFC Fight Night at the Apex. But as we always do, let's take a look at these prelim picks, maybe see if Ian has sprinkled in some props or some parlays. You never know with Ian Parker. It looks like we got a normal slate here of the prelim picks, but let's go ahead and walk us through them there, Ian.
I'll try not to disappoint you next time. We're going to go Kurt Holloway plus 130. Ogden looked good in his last fight. However, Holloway can match him in the jiu-jitsu. I think he has the better hands, carries more power. I think that fight also is going to go the distance, but I love that plus 130 number. Give me Ricardo Ramos over Julian Erosa. Erosa coming off 2 back-to-back first-round knockout losses. Can't rely on a guy with that much damage. Ramos has got good striking. I'm going there. I'm going Cody Gibson here, plus 130 over Miles Johns. Johns is coming off of a good win, but it was turned to a no contest. He's taking this on short notice. Let's go Steve Wynn. Let's go Daria. Let's go Severino. And last but not least, give me Parkin over Muhammad Usman. That line should be at least minus 190 for him. Steele at minus 140.
You know what? I am a little disappointed, Ian. Usually you're betting overs and unders, you're betting props, you're throwing in God knows what on those prelim picks, but this was a very straightforward, just picking sides all the way. Very unlike Ian Parker here for your prelim picks. What do we got for the long shot parlay this week?
Long shot, we're going to go 4 dogs. I think the toughest one is going to be the A.J. Dobson one because Shabazian still can strike. But we're going to go Dobson, Holloway, Gibson, and Severino at plus 13.55. I think a lot of these lines should be a little bit closer. So we're going to take a shot this week. Last week, had Tabora won by knockout, we would have hit our long shot parlay. Let's get it done this week.
Okay, so a 4-teamer there on some underdogs for the long shot parlay. How about Parker's parlay for Saturday?
So this one I went a little bit light. I found plus 136, only 2 fights. I'm all over Rose this week. We're going to go Rose, and we're going to go Kurt Holloway and Trey Ogden over 2.5 rounds at plus 136. I think both those get done relatively easy. We're going to go with that. Let's get back on that winning streak for our parlay.
Okay, and as always, those odds are provided by ESPN BET. So we got a 2-teamer for Parker's parlay, and then let's close it out with our slate of best bets for the UFC Fight Night.
Brett, I almost went 7 best bets this week, but I didn't want to get too crazy. Let's start main event. I'm going Rose Namajunas here. I sound like a broken record. I just don't see how she loses this fight. So we don't need to get cute with it. Let's take the money line here. Peyton Talbot. I think this kid's the real deal. Physicality, athleticism. I think Simon's striking maybe a tad bit better. But this kid is durable and will keep pushing forward, and that pace is nasty. Billy Q, I like him even more that Yusuf is taking this on short notice. He's a cardio machine. You cannot out-heart Billy Q. I think he gets it done. We're going with the dog and Cody Gibson. He's the better striker with the reach, has not been finished in God knows how long, and Miles John tends to gas taking this on short notice. I like underdog. Give me Steve Wynn. I really like what he did on the Contender Series. He's fighting another guy coming off a loss. Last but not least, give me Parkin over Usman. It's not Kamaru, it's Muhammad. Parkin's the better fighter. He gets it done.
Very, very fun, kind of overlooked UFC Fight Night card, which is to be expected. I mean, we came off of a blockbuster at UFC 299. UFC 300 is fast approaching, but a big weekend here for Rose Namajunas. We'll see if she gets it done. And Amanda Ribas trying to get some stock, some standing in that 125-pound division. He is Ian Parker. I am Brett Okamoto. Thank you so much for watching UFC Best Bets. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and we will see you next week, as always, same time, same place.